Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Real Talk here on Shelbyville Now. I'm David Thomas. This is Bo Gill.
Hello.
We're here to talk about just stuff that's going on, maybe some important information to pass along. And we will especially like to hear from you what you want to talk about. So if you have a topic, just bring it up and we'll talk about it.
Definitely.
But before we dive in today, Bo's got some numbers and we're going to take a look at. But before we check them out, we're going to hear from Norris Plumbing, one of our fine sponsors here on Shelbyville.
We love Norris Plumbing, local, decade. We always talk about how they're Bedford County roofs. That's what they are. If you have a frozen pipe, look, it's gotten a little warmer today. Maybe that isn't happening, but if you need any plumbing needs, holler at Norris Plumbing.
We'll hear from them. We'll be right back.
Norris Plumbing has been serving our community for 3 generations, providing reliable solutions for every plumbing need. From water heaters and water lines to kitchens, baths, and complete repiping, our team delivers quality workmanship you can trust. Professional service means arriving on time, explaining the problem, and completing the job with precision. At Norris Plumbing, we stand behind our work because your home deserves the very best. Call Norris Plumbing today at 931-703-5915. Norris Plumbing, trusted, professional, dependable.
All righty, welcome back in here to Real Talk. Bo, you've got some real estate numbers from 2025 we're going to go over today.
Yes, 25. I've got some numbers. As you know, that's kind of what I do. I'm a real estate appraiser, those who don't know. And every now and then we do market updates. We do statistics on things that are happening around here. And today I thought we'd bring a little bit of a different flavor. Usually we talk about the entire county. That's what we've done usually. And I do have the entire county here, and it does show with the sales price that the median has gone down.
And you're talking about the median sales price.
The median sales price, 6%, it's gone down. The average says 6% up, but that's the entire Bedford County. And I thought, okay, a lot of people are telling me there's not much moving around town, or they're not much what they're seeing. And I agree,
You're talking about around the city?
Around the city parts of the area. So what I did is I broke down into zip codes. I said 37160. And when you look at it in the zip code, and when you break it down in those areas, you can kind of see what's happening. And a lot of us could probably project this, but this is what is happening. The 37160, which would be Shelbyville, Flat Creek, it takes in quite a bit of rural, especially west of town. It doesn't get a whole lot north, but it goes to 37160. It has experienced quite a in the sales price, the average 26% fall, the median 10%. I mean, this is in year to date.
So what's 26%?
The sales price, the sales price average, which we like to go by median around here a lot of times. So the sales price median has gone down 10%.
Okay, that average is what we need to look at.
We can look at average. I look at both of them in between, but the average has gone down 26%. It says year to date, January 2025, we were selling at $442,195. January 2026, $327,500. And that is in the 37160 area code. Let's just remember, we're not talking about the entire county. If you look at this, and David can second me, there's a lot of red arrows going down in that area.
That's a sign our prices are coming down.
Yes, it is. But when you look at the overall, remember it's got a little bit of it's gone up. So I looked at 37102, which will be Bell Buckle. And it is one of the most popular markets. It's closer to Rutherford County. It takes in more of the northeastern portion of the county. It comes over a little bit of 231 there, but it has experienced the biggest. Of course, it has gone up quite a bit. Let's see, the sales price average 50% up. It's always higher in the northern part. That just seems like that's been the trend ever since.
So how much percentage up in price?
50%.
In price?
In price, sales price average. And that is just because there is a limited number of properties.
Okay, so what's your median? Or let's just say what's your average in that area?
The average
price.
The average, that's what it's 679, 175.
And that's gone up 50% in the last year.
Yep, in Bell Buckle, and that's because there's not as many numbers there. I mean, and then if you get a couple big sales, $1 million sales in there, it really
you talking about rich folks
typically, and this is where you see most of your bigger farms, a lot of horse farm, a lot of house,
you got acreage.
Large
so
acreage.
It's not just a house; you got the acreage.
Yeah. So this is what I'm trying. When you watch this and this is over, we should come to the opinion that yes, the real estate market is going up, but it's in certain areas. I mean, it really is, and it makes sense that the Rutherford County effect, it's real. Unionville is really seeing a huge increase
in sales price.
Yes, that'll be the 37180.
Well, let's talk about numbers. Let's talk about numbers. How many, Bo, just in the entire county, did we see how many transactions did we see? Do we have that number?
No, I don't know if let's see. Closings. No, I don't have the overall number right here. Sorry, I'm just kind of looking over them here. I don't have that. It says that we had closings in January 2025, 38, and this January we had 44. So it's up 16%
in January.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So for the whole year, how many closings versus the year before? Do we know?
No, I don't know that right there. This is just our year to date, and it's a good way. I've learned that it's a good way to look at things, because if you see indications in certain times, it shows. But when you have all of the sales, and I can do a full review, but this right here is more of a breakdown on certain in a year to date type of way to look at it. You can look at it however, but I did break it down to Normandy. I mean, Normandy only has a few closings. They don't have quite a bit of inventory in Normandy because it's,
how many closings did they have in 2025?
In 2025, January, they had 5. This year, they've had 2.
Well, what about for the whole year?
For the whole year
in 2025, we don't have those numbers.
No, we don't have that.
That's
what I
did
a year to date.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we don't really know how many transactions we had last year, whether it was down from 2024 or up from 2024. Right. But you can say that the trend is the price in the city,
yes,
where more fixed income people live,
yes,
is going down in price.
Yes, it is. And the listing prices are going down. Okay. I've seen a lot of decrease, small increments of the new construction. You're just not seeing as much new construction, right?
Okay, so then all these developments that we're having talking about coming, they might not necessarily come,
and a lot of them,
if they can't sell them.
They can't. That's right. And that's not just the ones coming. That's the ones that have been approved,
right?
That we've got on the books. I mean, it just might not pan out.
Building them yet.
It just might not pan out.
I saw something this morning, Bo. I hear people about rent, want to find a place to rent, can't find a place to rent. Okay. And I saw coming to town off where I live, off of Hotel on the Highway, coming in on the right on Belmont Avenue for rent. And it's those apartments sitting right across. I can't remember the other name, but there's like two rows of them.
Yes.
And they're sitting there trying to rent them and can't rent them. So obviously what people are saying is there's no rent that I can afford.
That's exactly what they're saying, because rent has increased just as the sales price has.
I'd say they're going to come down though.
Well, they could. I mean, usually that's what happens when they're unoccupied. The market adjusts itself. Right now, a house like that or a new 3-bedroom like house to rent would be $1,700.
People can't do that,
and that's hard.
Not in the city,
and that's not an investment. I mean, you've got a roof over your head, but it's tough right now. It really is, and that's so it's tough when it's tough to rent and it's tough to buy, and the income isn't going up. What do we do? I mean, it's like, how can that work?
It's going to naturally, the market is going to correct itself. It has to.
It always does.
I mean, honestly, if you got something for rent and you want to rent this for X number of dollars and it sits there for a year vacant, unless you're just a billionaire or something,
right,
you're going to bring that price down and get somebody in there.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And I'm surprised they hadn't yet, but I know that it seems like the demand is there more in the rental. I think more people would like to be in the buying market, but it's just kind of out of reach right now.
So that dream of a young couple getting married, starting a family, and buying a house, is out of reach for most people in
And
the
that's
city.
sad, because used to you could get something pretty nice for $60,000
Oh
or so
yeah, I know.
all day long.
I know.
I mean, that was okay, and now you're starting in at 240.
It's all overpriced, Bo.
It's hard.
Relative to everything else.
Yeah, it is, and I don't know, how we've gotten here. I guess the people that have moved. I mean, because when you watch these shows, I've seen my wife watch them, and they're in New York selling these little bitty houses for like $800,000, and I'm kind of thinking,
That's
well,
how
now
we got
here we're getting here. Yeah.
That's what's happened here.
They sold their 800,000 house,
and they got cash, and they're throwing it. Okay,
and they said, "Oh well, will you give 250?"
And these people that have been buying houses here all along for the 150, 200,000 range, let's say 15 years ago, they're out of reach for them now. Now they're 400, and they're like, well, where do we go? They don't have anywhere to go, Bo.
No, they don't, and it's concerning. I mean, I don't know how we fix it. I know that I've heard ways, but I mean, ultimately, it's going to take a correction. And when something corrects, there's always people that lose.
As long as as long as we keep touting about how great Tennessee is and how this area is, I know y'all just need to keep that quiet. This is a terrible place to live.
Yeah.
Y'all don't need to come to Tennessee because it's awful. It's worse than California, and
Smells
worse than New
bad.
York.
Oh, yeah.
And you definitely don't want to move down here from Chicago. No.
Oh no.
No. All right.
No.
All right. So
no, it's
no,
like I said.
I mean, it's attractive.
The secret is out. It's attractive. It's where people want. They like the people, and they like the rural nature, and that's why we've got to preserve that. But that's why they're coming. They're here, and we can't believe that they're wanting to give us X amount of dollars for our house. Really? Is it really worth?
Yeah.
10 years ago, that would be a pipe dream.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm serious. 50%, 100% increase in houses. I mean, in the last 5 years,
insane. It's overpriced. The materials have not increased that much.
I told you today I did an appraisal, and I did it. I noticed I did it in 2021. I had to do it again in 2026. Did it for 340 in 2021, and now it's about 640 somewhere in there. I mean, that is.
And how long?
Market.
How many years?
5 years.
That's something that cannot be sustained.
That's above typical appreciation. That is way above.
The question is, are those people now making twice as much as they did 5 years ago to make it before? No, of course not.
According to the numbers, they're not. And also, in the next 5 years, do you see it going from 630 to 930?
No,
I don't.
I see it going down. It's got to correct.
It's
because they're going to start sitting empty.
Yeah.
When those people from California and New York run out, which I don't know, if they keep going down the path, they're going to keep coming, I'm afraid. But it's going to put our people looking for somewhere else, and we're at the bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah.
I mean, where are they going to go now? Fayetteville? What's they're in a similar situation, I'd say, coming up from Huntsville.
I know it's no, that's the other markets that are more affordable are Fayetteville. Lewisburg is starting to get a little bit of increase. I mean, it's kind of behind. I would have thought with it having Chapel Hill connected, it would have been there, but it's coming with it. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity there now that people have recognized, but in Fayetteville, it's still somewhat affordable until you get south, like in Park City, close to Fayetteville. And of course, the Huntsville crowd likes that. But no, that would be the other choice. I mean, Winchester.
And get this. All right. Sorry to interrupt, but this just came to my mind.
I was finished.
All right. Here's what blows my mind.
All right.
I love to go to the beach.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Panama
Beach
City
bum.
area. Okay. Panama City Beach area. 1 block from the beach, you can get a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house for in the 300s.
Really?
Yes. Right now, listed, and they're everywhere. They can't sell them down there. All right. You tell me why? Okay. Well, first of all, your insurance is out through the roof because you got hurricanes.
Because you're going to have to rebuild it every 5 years.
Yeah, pretty much. And that people don't rent a lot of those. These are just people that are residents of Panama City Beach, Florida.
Right.
And they'll buy a house. Maybe they did come in and make it a summer home. Now they decide they want out because of the cost.
Mm-hmm.
Your property taxes are high and their insurance rates are through the roof.
Not to mention maintenance throughout.
But at 300,000 versus 600,000 or 400 and 500, I mean, it's attractive.
I might move to Florida. I kind of like it. I mean, that used to be opposite. I mean, I know that the the prime real estate is that oceanfront, but just a block off. I mean, that's
it's selling cheaper than what ours is here.
Florida's,
you would think we were right next to a beach based on what the price.
We are. We've got Normandy Beach, and not the one of World War II. It is Normandy, Tennessee Beach.
All right, Debbie Smith. Rural is disappearing rapidly. Farms are being sold and torn apart and turned into subdivisions. And yeah, that's the thing that I'm concerned the most about.
But there you go into a decision, you know, somebody's, you know, entire wealth, and they're approached by someone, you know, are they going to just sit on it and die? You know, or they want to sell it and maybe enjoy some of that money. That's what's happening. But, you know, ultimately you can use that and make that farm a agritourism business. That is a big thing. If you've got a lot of land, you can make money off of it if you want to work.
And so that's mind boggling to me. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But I'm not, you know, I'm not somebody from out of state that's going to come down here and look around at what we got as a tourist. I'm not thinking that Shelbyville, Tennessee, or Bedford County is tourism because I live here.
Agritourism though is very different because they can do the mazes and they can do a lot of like making and picking. And
well,
it's a big thing.
Bell Buckle Craft Fair is a big
Bell
thing.
Buckle does it. They did it out. I don't know if they still do it next to where the processing plant was in Wartrace, but the agritourism is a big deal. It is. I mean, it's something. It's an option you can do with your farm.
Yeah,
you can do all kinds of trails.
Well, I feel
you can have a concert for them.
Yeah, I feel like that we have not capitalized on us being Tennessee walking horse capital of the world. We have not capitalized on that.
No.
Over the years, we had a lot of people coming in town, and it's of course dwindled down some. But this agritourism obviously is still a popular thing that we have not capitalized on, that we have not promoted like we should.
No.
I know that there's been barns out south of town. I can't think of the one on 231. I can't remember the name, but they had like cabins for rent. They had a big fishing pond.
They would have shows there.
That's kind of that's kind of died down some.
Yeah.
So I just don't know. We've got to do a better job of promoting it. And I say we. I don't know who we is at this point, Bo.
We as the owners, is me and you, as our neighbor. It's everybody. I mean, there's opportunities. You know, a lot of times these farms, maybe a granddad or grandmother, they pass on, and then you've got these grandkids that are all out of town and they just want to sell it and get their money. You know, it would be great if they had like one that wanted to preserve it, you know, that want to do that. But look, that's their choice. It is a personal choice, really. I mean, who am I to say don't sell your land, but please don't.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
been in families for generations, and they can't make money off their land. And I think that could change if we all focused on supporting local farmers more. How you get their product to our market, support it a little bit. Now, some of them do it in bulk, you know, like soybean. I know a guy that does soybeans. I know some other people do corn. And of course, they have their outlets for that. But you're going to start seeing more and more of these processing plants like Potts and the Cross Creek is that the name of it. And there's another one around where they're raising their own beef. They're killing their beef. They're processing it and selling it local. And that's going to be a bigger thing because of the health consciousness and the processed foods. People are starting to get educated on it.
Yes.
And
I welcome
hats off to him. But Robert F. Kennedy has got people focused on that. Like him or hate him, he has beat the drum on healthy food.
He has. And it looks like that Tennessee's got some stuff coming down the pike in the future, maybe that they're going to start really, you know, getting rid of some of this junk that we're eating. But you're right. I think that would be great to have more of those family processing. That would drive the price down, of course. If you had more, you know, then you just get your meat there.
Well, they would get their volume up too.
Yes.
And we need to support those type of businesses. And we go, you know, we've got Piggly Wiggly as a sponsor here on Shelbyville now, and they do a fantastic job as a family-owned business.
Yes, they do.
But you've got all the other grocery stores are all corporate owned, and that tax money goes out of here.
Right.
Okay. So
until we get pre-programmed not to go, it's like.
And I'm not saying not to go there.
They're great.
Yeah. But we've got to really focus on these local businesses.
Give them others a chance.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not every time you go. Yeah. Maybe, you know, 1 out of 3 you go to a local place.
Yeah.
But No, I'm not saying that Kroger's or Food Line or any of them are bad by no means. You'll probably see me in one of them soon, but we need to be more focused on that. We do. I mean, and it takes us, getting out of that mindset and knowing we might,
right,
even if you do have to spend.
Let's think about this right now. If you're going to buy a steak tonight to grill, Bo, where are you going to go get it?
Oh, where would I go get it?
Yeah.
I used to go to Smith's Food Town. That was where I always went. Yeah. And that I love. That's where I went.
The source of their meat is the same source that Piggly Wiggly has.
Well, so that's okay.
All right. So
it sounds like I'd be going to Piggly Wiggly, but
you can talk to their butcher and get it cut like you want. Okay.
That's
a personal service right there. Okay. Potts Processing.
Yes.
They have beef.
Locally,
the Cross Creek
local
people.
fed and
grown.
Yes.
Now the other that I was talking about comes out of Alabama, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying it's raised there, but it's processed down there, and it's a grocery outlet. But their quality of meat is superb.
Yes, it's not a huge. It's more directed towards regional areas.
More area, regional, and that to me lifts the quality just a bit because it's closer. The source is closer to us.
Hey, when you
a lot of the stuff we're getting is coming out of Mexico.
It is, and when you can talk to your butcher. And I mean, you can at Kroger's. I know but I don't know. It's something about the hometown meat that's better. Like I said, I went to Smith's, and I don't know if it's just me. It probably is. It's probably just because, man, that's a Smith steak. Y'all, if you hadn't eaten Smith steaks, I'm sorry you don't remember it, but Smith's was great.
They come out of a place called Mitchell Groceries in Albertville, Alabama. I'm pretty sure.
Well,
and I think that's the same source.
Garrison, there's a Garrison Creek Farms also that
they're doing stuff,
local stuff.
We're going to have to do some research and find out what's all available and post this up because
we do.
You also have a lot of people that grow and set up at our farmers market.
Yes.
Over on the Celebration Pavilion.
Yes.
During when harvest time comes in, we start
usually on Thursdays. They'll do that.
I think that starts usually in June.
Yep. I'm not sure when it starts, but that's about when crops start.
Yeah, they're usually every Thursday, I believe. I don't know what.
And there are, and like you said, we need to look at that and come back and revisit this topic because there are other local growers I know in the county that do have like little groceries. They'll sell corn and little things. And people, if you remember, mentioned it on here. If y'all
there's a question right here. Tamara Price is asking. I've often wondered how is Big Smo. He was on the show a couple years ago and was opening a healthy food truck, and he's still doing that. He still has Smolicious.
Smolicious, the name of it. And I haven't visited Smolicious in a while, but I need to. He used to set up at Best Way.
Yeah, he started out right there.
He started out right there. Smo, knowing him, he's blown up. He's all over the state now.
I think he hits different areas because you've got to move around and get your word out.
And that's who Smo is. He goes out and he works. He goes to the people. When you eat there, you get the Smo experience and the Smo food. It's kind of a great thing, but he's around. Check him out. I'm sure you look online. You can go find it.
Find him. He's on his website.
Yeah,
and he watches the show quite a bit, I think. But you look at these local sources we have and understand that it's a gift. I mean, there's a lot of areas of the country that have nothing like this.
No.
And we're fortunate, and we are in that agriculture belt.
We are,
and I'm going to do all I can to beat the drum to keep that intact at all costs, Bo.
Yes, that's a part of who we are,
right?
And we understand that the developers, we're a target. Any type of open land is a target.
I know, and I said before this show we wasn't going to go down this path, but we seem to always end up here.
Well,
because it's the first thing that we start having concern about. Okay,
20 years ago we wouldn't be thinking about this conversation at all, and now we're experiencing it. So we're seeing it day to day through our life. We go to the store, we go get gas. We're seeing this, and it's not necessarily negatively affecting us or positively, I guess, but we notice it. And so it's topics that come up. I mean, I don't know how we can avoid it. We try to.
Yeah, there is a limit to what our resources and our infrastructure can handle in Bedford County. I think everybody's aware of that because that's all we talk about. And going back to your numbers over here that you started the show out with, I see that maybe there's been a decrease because of pricing in the city area.
Mm-hmm.
And out in the county, you've got a lot of people buying some land, hopefully keeping it intact. Okay. It sounds like your average price is so high, they're buying a home with some acreage.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good
Yeah.
because that attracted them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's right.
So they're going, more than likely, they're going to keep it.
Yes.
That is the type. And I don't want to say growth. That's not growth. It's people moving into the area.
Improvement. It's
well, it's occupancy. It's population. Numbers of population. It's going up. That's what's going on.
Drive through rural Williamson County,
Mm-hmm.
and I see that type of deal. When I still see a rural character, but there's still residential things going. That's what I could vision us at. Not as a bunch of, not to say we don't need one here and there, but that's what I see.
We have to protect. Okay, being a conservative, that means to protect something. And you mentioned it in your interview the other day. You're a preservationist.
Preservationist to
okay,
preserve our
Adam
character.
Smith. That's why we need commissioners and a mayor that would have the people's interest instead of these big time developers. And he hits the nail on the head. This is election year. We have the opportunity to put people in that want to preserve Bedford County and at the same time have healthy population expansion. I'm going to call it that. It's not growth. Bedford County is not going to grow a square inch.
I'll agree with that term. I'll agree with that. Not everybody uses it correctly. But
the right population expansion coming into Bedford County can change the dynamics of our county financially, but not our characteristics.
No.
We need to keep those intact. Quality people moving to Bedford County is a good thing. Right. People that can reach out and invest in the community and start a business.
Yes.
That's the type of people we need here. People that will be an employer, people with the wherewithal. Maybe somebody moving from California that has a lot of money and they're not done with their career and they want to start a business here. Do it.
That's right.
I'm for it. That's the type of expansion. That's the type of people we need moving here.
You better believe it. But that's also with something we've got to guard against, is the ones that don't want the best interest. And I think that we have to, that I know that gets into a sticky situation with some people, but sometimes you just have to say no.
Yeah.
But it's important to have that representation that really cares about the county and loves the county instead of the almighty dollar. It comes down to that.
And here's another thing too, and this goes to developers, and I don't know what developer's going to do it. I don't know what builder's going to do it. There's some that seem to just want to keep throwing stuff up and hope they fill it. Okay. I think there's others out there that really care about Shelbyville, the city.
Yes.
That would do some remodeling and put a reasonable house on the market of some of these old homes that need to be renovated.
Instead of knocking it down and putting a triplex.
And of course, you're going to have people always buy homes that need work and try to flip them or try to rent them, fix them up and try to rent them. That's always there.
Yeah.
But if we do it going forward, everybody needs to focus on making Shelbyville a quality place to live. The city itself. And that's sometimes you see older buildings, improving older buildings. If you've got the means and you've got the know-how, buy a house and fix it up. It gets contagious on the street sometimes. And before you know it, you've just rejuvenated a neighborhood. There are some neighborhoods in Shelbyville that need some rejuvenation. And, well, the thing about it, a lot of people that are in these homes are on a fixed income and they can't go remodel their home. They can't put new gutters up. They can't put a new roof on yet. They have to save up for that type of stuff. And in the process of that, I think that's where we need to reach out and try to help our neighbors if we can.
Yeah, I think that's the only the kind of the wise neighborly thing to do. There are other avenues to get, I guess discounted materials. There are other ways to get labor or good-hearted people just want to go. I'm not saying I could go put up this vinyl on every house or anything, but I think that all of us together really could. I mean, that is really doable if you think about it. I mean, it's something that we could do ourselves. But, when we get on one more thing about, also, if you don't want to lose control of who you are as a county, right? You want to keep that character intact. Yep. And that's why we've got to be careful because there's other cities and counties throughout that have been kind of taken over and totally transformed. We've been blessed with representation that has not done that. We're still Bedford County. And I'm not talking about just a little radical changes. Yeah, and we've got to guard from that.
And I would think that the big issue over the last 5 years is I think our citizens have pushed back on some of the stuff.
They sure have.
I mean, they say we don't want that. Okay. This should be an easy conversation to have. You know, if you're in a capacity of representation, the question is, what would you like to see Bedford County look like? I hadn't heard any of these organizations or the establishment reach out to the county constituents, except isolated people that are commissioners or whatever, and say, what do you want to see Bedford County look like? What do you vision 25 years from now?
Right.
Do you want to see horses out in the pasture, cows out in the pasture, or do you want to see apartment complexes strung out everywhere? I think the answer is obvious already. I don't have to ask that question. I get it. I get the statement made to me every day. Can you believe that this is happening? Can you? Well, people are pushing back, Bo.
Yeah, and then when you're thinking that in yourself, or you're talking to your friend, you know, make sure to voice your opinion. Make sure to be heard. Representatives want to hear that, and if you've got a good one that'll fight for you, he's going to listen, and he's going to stand up, and he's going to say, "Hey,"
he's going to vote. He's going to vote against that type of thing that when it comes up, and I think that Bedford County has been heard loud and clear over the last 3 years. You've had people step up and say out in the county that we don't want a PUD here because it's going to create issues for our way of living. You know, water problems, sewer problems.
We could have easily used the state's template, but on the step systems issue. But now the people stepped up, and they're doing it in a more responsible way, I would argue.
But I think these numbers that you have today show a trend for our city that I'm not going to say it's troubling, but it's something to keep an eye on. Are we going to see prices come down where more people can buy and more of our local kids can stay here? I mean, I don't know where else they're going to go. They might all go to Lewisburg if it's cheaper. They might go to Lynchburg if it's cheaper. They might. I don't think Tullahoma's any cheaper, but they might go to Fayetteville. They might go to. They might move out of state, Bo.
Yeah.
I mean,
might move to Alabama.
They might move to East Tennessee somewhere. I mean, we want to keep our talented kids here.
Remember, we lost 200 and so students this year. Tammy Garrett's her last quarterly report. That's what she said, and maybe some of those were to that voucher program, or some weren't. But we're already losing students. If you want, you know, 200.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if those kids are leaving the county. Well, I think they're just going into homeschooling situations in private schools.
That's true.
That's another topic.
That is another topic.
But these kids,
you see what I'm saying.
When I'm talking about young married couples that are trying to get started, or let's just say a single guy, he's got to find him a roommate to split rent with. There's no way a young man in this town is going to rent an apartment and get an average job. He's going broke fast.
Yeah, no, there's no way. And then just to live and buy groceries. I mean, I'm sorry for your luck. I mean, we're all experiencing it right now, though, especially the newly, married couple.
Richard Vincent brings up a good point. How can you have sensible development when, because of the state's right to farm act of 1973, you may have CAFO as your neighbor tomorrow? And that's true. I mean, that's another issue. We've got to push back on all the stuff that sometimes I think our government's lost. Well, I don't know what motivation at our government at the local, state, and federal level is all about who is buying and paying them off. That's what it's about. Where are they getting their money from? And it ain't their paychecks I'm talking about.
And that's the opposite of what it's supposed to be about.
It's special interests run everything.
Yes,
even at the county level. Yes. So the people pushing back is a good sign.
Very good sign. I think I would love to see more of it every month on everything. Well, you don't have to go. Remember, you can watch it online, and then you can follow up.
Yeah. All right, Bo. We need to get out of here. We thank y'all for watching.
We sure do.
Interesting comments. Interesting conversation with
a little real estate. It's always something to real talk about, but I don't know what else. The growth is the biggest thing right now, and it's just hard to dodge. I think we've demonstrated that.
I say the word growth and it like a.
I know
we're not getting any.
When
bigger.
I said it, I was looking. I got the look from.
Remember, Bedford County is a cup. What are we going to fill it with? Are we going to run it over? And what are we putting in it?
We're putting coffee in it. We're filling it full of coffee shops.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll be back again Thursday unless something happens that we